What's up, guys? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the podcast. Let me know in the chat. Chewy, I know you're in the chat right now, and you're going to let me know if the audio is good or if the audio is bad, if the video is good, if the video is bad. I have Steph with me in the studio. Go ahead and wave to everyone, Steph.
Hi, guys.
So she's going to be helping me out today and on some future episodes as well. And so, yeah, let me know if everything's good in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But yeah. Chewy says everything's good. That's good to hear. It's good to hear. All right. Steph.
Oh.
We're doing a double camera action today, and I'm really excited to try it because I'm just gonna
Caught me red-handed right there.
I caught you red sweatered. That's the thing. But yeah, how was your week? How's your day?
My week has been very, I guess, work and trying to catch up on sleep. And then my day today was adventurous, going to Pendleton, trying to get me some work pants and work clothes, and this work stuff gets ripped up pretty easily.
What do you do for work again?
I work for the electrical union. I'm kind of like their gopher. I'm a forklift operator.
All right.
I'm certified. You know.
I work in the warehouse kind of industry too, so
Forklift operator buddies right here.
Yep, there you go. Didn't really get certified, but I
we don't have to say that on camera.
No, I don't. I only drove it like a few times when I was a driver for my current company, but I work at the front desk now, so I am out of the warehouse and into inside sales. So that's my area of expertise now.
Don't get carpal tunnel.
Dude, I had to get so. Let me switch back to me. I'm gonna have to get used to this. Think of it this way: if I can't switch slides for Bible verses, I'm not gonna get used to switching cameras.
I know. You're gonna forget. We're gonna sit here talking to the wall.
I'm gonna be sitting here and it's just camera on you all the time. But I had to order online this wrist pad for my mouse, for my wrist, because I was starting to get
hurting.
Yeah, it's hurting. I was like, I'm not getting carpal tunnel at 26 years old. Devil's a liar. That's for 70-year-olds, all right? Yeah. Not for 26-year-olds. In Jesus' name. Anyways, let's see. Drew's like, them taxes? What's the context for that? Were we talking about taxes? No, we weren't talking about taxes. Cool. Well, guys, today's topic is going to be kind of a serious one. When is our topics never serious? But, every once in a while we'll have a fun topic to talk about. But the Lord put it on my heart to talk about toxic relationships and how to heal from them and how to get out of them, and also how to navigate them as well. So we're going to be talking, from all sides here. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So first of all, let's go ahead and define what a toxic person is. And Steph, really quickly, what do you think is the definition of a toxic person? How would you define a toxic person?
Dang. I think a toxic person is just somebody who honestly can't deal with their emotions very well. Okay. So that being said, that proceeds with them projecting their hurt, their stuff on somebody else, their worries, their insecurities and stuff like that.
That's good. That's pretty much the right on definition of a toxic person. I forget. Oh yeah, I got this from WebMD. This definition of a toxic person. A toxic person is anyone whose behavior adds negativity and upset to your life or one's life. Many times people who are toxic are dealing with their own stresses, like you said, and traumas. To do this, they act in ways that don't present them in the best light and usually upset others along the way. So that's kind of the broad definition of a toxic person. So to kind of highlight this, a toxic person is someone who adds negativity and upset to your life. And also on the flip side of that coin, someone who takes away positivity. So they can actually drain you from...
Yes, they can.
She's over here making the craziest face ever. Were you only gonna sneeze?
No, I was trying to.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're trying to pop your ears.
Yeah.
All right. So
Sorry.
This is great. All right. So what's a serious topic without some laughter? So on the flip side of that coin, someone who can also take away positivity. So that someone can actually drain you you can have a great day and then you get around this person that's toxic and they will just drain you of everything. And that can that sucks. Yeah, you can have like the greatest of days and then when you think you're having a great day, you just get around this person and they just cut you off. They just drain you. So according to the Bible, they are bad company. That's 1 Corinthians 15:33. They're fools. That's from Proverbs 13:20. I'm tongue-tied and twisted today. Or hot-tempered, and that's from Proverbs 22:24-25. We're not going to get through this episode, Steph. Among other things. So toxic people, according to the Bible, can be described by these different traits: bad company, fools, and hot-tempered. So what are the effects of toxic people in one's life? According to 1 Corinthians and Proverbs, toxic people can affect you. So in 1 Corinthians 15:33, they can corrupt good morals. In Proverbs 22:24-25, their ways, like their character or their ways of doing things, can rub off on you. So they're a bad influence. They can rub off on you. The things that they do, the things that they say, how they act, how they think, can rub off on you and can affect you. So moving into now, what are toxic relationships? Well, we've already described what toxic people are. Toxic relationships are defined by any relationship between two people that result in verbal, emotional, physical hostility towards each other with varying degrees of hostility. So a toxic relationship can simply be someone negatively affecting you with their words, so verbally. It can escalate to where they're verbally, emotionally, and or physically acting hostile towards you, and that's like a full-blown toxic relationship. I don't know if you've ever been in a full-blown toxic relationship. I have, but can you has there been some times in your life where you have experienced like really toxic relationships?
Yeah, if we're talking full-blown, meaning like the whole 9 or 10 yards. Is that what is it?
The whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards. I was right the first time. Yeah. Like the physical abuse aspect of it, I haven't received that part of it in a way. I mean, there was here's and there's like grabbing of the arms and stuff like that, but nothing like there was no hitting or anything like that. But the rest of it, definitely was a very, very toxic relationship that lasted for like 2 years.
I feel like a lot of relationships end up being more emotional than any of the others. So there's only a handful of relationships that get really abusive, and then there's like the rest that are like really verbal
Mm-hmm.
and really emotional. And in the end of that relationship, you come out more emotionally damaged than maybe anything else,
Mm-hmm.
because you can get verbally damaged. You can get even physically like damaged, but the long-term effects is really emotional. For me, I have a couple different relationships that ended up not physical, thank God, but definitely verbal, definitely emotional, more emotional than anything. And one was a like past relationship with my ex-girlfriend, who was actually an ex-fiance. So there was that one, and then there was also a friendship that that got really toxic as well. And the intimate relationship, the one with my ex, was like, I think, close to 4 years. And then the other, my friendship was, gosh, since like we broke off the friendship in end of 2020, like Christmas of 2020, but we became friends in like junior, senior year of high school. So that was like 2015. So that was like 5, almost 6 years of that friendship. That was a long friendship. So that really hurt. Yeah. So as we go further into describing what toxic relationships are, I'll kind of hit on like my own personal experience, and don't be afraid, Steph, to join in as well.
Okay.
To kind of highlight some of those moments where you kind of went to this. So how to start healing from toxic relationship is what the main part of this episode is going to be, because I feel like a lot of us we go through these toxic relationships, and we come out of them, like we eventually do break them off.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone's listening and you haven't broken it off yet at all, and you're still in these toxic relationships, whether it's toxic friendships or toxic intimate relationships with like spouses, or even with engagements, or girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. And so the healing process is what I really want to highlight in this episode, because that's the most important. Because a lot of us, we've either gone through these relationships or we're still in them, and we don't know where to start when it comes to the healing process. So when I was in these relationships, these toxic relationships, of course, I was in these for 4 or more years, like 3 or more years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a long time to be in a toxic relationship without really admitting to myself or realizing that it was toxic. And for example, my friendship, I didn't know it was toxic until like the very last year.
Oh.
So like for 5 years, I thought I was actually like lying to myself that it was good, because I was also ignorant to the toxic part. And so it wasn't until like year 6 where I was like, this is messed up, and I need to leave. Unfortunately, it didn't end in like the most ideal circumstances, because I'm not the one that ended up breaking off the relationship. It was actually the person that was really toxic that ended up ironically breaking off the relationship. But it wasn't until after that breakup that I fully realized how toxic it was and how it was really affecting me, because it almost felt like a breath of fresh air afterwards. And I heard a lot, like there was like 6 months where I had to come to terms with not being friends with the person anymore. It felt like an actual breakup with like a significant other. Have you broken up with a friend before?
Yes, I have. And then it did suck because it was because of the toxic relationship that I had. So, but not being able to text that person, especially because I was like literally my day one, it was really hard. It hurt, yeah. They say relationships can hurt more than they say friendships can break hearts too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can. And I would even agree with you. What you're about to say is that some friendships, breaking up of friendships, can hurt even more than
a relationship,
than intimate relationships.
Yeah.
And that's so true because that's exactly what I experienced. Like for 6 months, like as much of a man as I am, I cried. I did.
It sucks.
It sucked. I had nightmares.
Yeah.
I had nightmares about this person, this friend, ending the friendship in different ways over and over again. And that was like my brain like trying to process it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how that worked, and I've never experienced that before. I did not experience that with breaking up with my ex-fiance. I didn't process it like that before. This was totally new to me. I was having nightmares about like them ending the friendship over and over again in different ways. And it was torture. And eventually I was just like, I'm like, God, like, why do I keep having like this, why do I keep, revisiting this? Why do I keep having this over and over again, the same nightmare, just in different ways? And I didn't really get a confirmed like clarification on why that was happening. All the Holy Spirit told me was that, or he just reassured me that this is how like I was supposed to process it. And I was just like, okay, I trust it. Yeah. And eventually it did end, and I healed from that. But it took up to 6 months before that.
Yeah, long 6 months.
So yeah, there's that. So how do we identify a toxic relationship? Like what are some of the things that maybe you, Steph, have like learned, like looking back on these relationships? Like what were some of the toxic traits that you had to identify, and that you ended up realizing and confirming, yeah, this is a toxic relationship?
So it took me a long time because when you're with somebody, you also become toxic,
right?
So, but it was more of the fact of the obsessiveness that became about, where it was more of like, I'm now this person's property, basically. So you don't want no one stepping on your property or messing up your property or bothering your property. So it's kind of like when that came to go, and where that person knew that they had me wrapped around their finger, they did whatever they wanted after that. And it was, but the obsessiveness is the first thing that I was like, oh, something's wrong. But I was also really young, and I honestly wasn't following God at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know. All I knew is that I love this person and I will do anything for this person, and they knew that. And so there started a new cycle of, okay, I can manipulate this person however I want because I know they're not going anywhere.
I gotcha.
So I think manipulation and obsessiveness are the first two key things to look at when two people start falling in love with each other. So
was the obsessiveness on your part, like you were obsessed with this person, or was it their obsessiveness with you, or just like to get like...
So they became obsessed with me, basically.
Okay.
And I ended up becoming obsessed with them, but it was more of them just making me their property, you know, making it known that I'm their property. And
okay.
there became a cycle.
So, and then the manipulation was also on their side.
Oh, yeah.
So they were very much the toxic person in the relationship.
No, definitely.
And like you said, the more the relationship goes on, like you become toxic as well, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like your complicitness in the relationship, like you being complicit in like making the relationship go longer and not cutting it off, is you becoming toxic to them as well and adding to their toxicity, but it's also becoming toxic to yourself. And that's something that I had to learn as well. Because in both relationships, with my ex-fiance and then also with my best friend at the time, is I didn't know, I was unaware of how toxic it was, and by me being unaware, by me being ignorant and being complicit in that, I was also being toxic to myself, and adding to their toxicity. On that note, I'm gonna share something at the very end that kind of speaks to us having the ability to actually add to someone's toxicity. So in the chat is actually a good friend of mine, Randall. He says that repeated nightmares is a symptom of trauma, and he's actually a counselor. So I take this as a legitimate fact. What's up, Randall? Thank you for joining in. So he says that repeated